Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about new EPC rules. This is really positive news for landlords. It's a massive win because some landlords, however much money they spent on their property, would not be able to get to the level C that the government want. So in this video, I'm going to go through all the EPC stuff that you need to know as a landlord. And even if you're a tenant, it's really important that you understand this stuff. And homeowners, you should know too, because eventually I'm sure this stuff will roll out to nearly everyone that owns a home. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We've got new content like this every single day. We're just a smidge away from 41,000 subscribers, so help us get there a little bit faster. And let's get some more views on this video because people need to know what is going on. Hardly anyone is reporting on this. So make sure you smash the like, tickle the like, do something to the like button, and then share this video with another landlord. You can WhatsApp it, email it, or Facebook message it to them. So what's going on? Well, this EPC stuff has been stressing out a lot of landlords. In fact, it's one of the contributing factors to landlords leaving the market. Over the last few years, record numbers of landlords have been leaving the property market, and that's due to a few things: taxation, interest rates, the renters' rights bill, the fear of not being able to easily get your property back if you need to. But EPCs is another major concern. Now, last November, they were talking about this EPC stuff and that we need to get our properties to a level C by 2030. Now, the Conservatives had this and they dropped it before the election, but it came back under Labour and they're saying by 2030, you've got to have your property to a level C in order to be able to rent it out. Now, it gets worse than that. In 2028, if your tenant left your property and then you needed to re-let it, you would have to get it to a level C prior to being able to do that. So that's only 2.5 years away, not the 2030 that we're looking at for a lot of people. So that is something that really worries a lot of people. Now, in November last year, they said that you would spend, if you couldn't get your property to a level C, you would need to spend a minimum of £10,000 in order to get your property up to as close as you could to that level C. Now they're talking about that increasing to £15,000. That's a massive jump, 50% in only a few short months. And it's not even law yet. It could go up even more. So that has landlords worried. Imagine if you own a 100 grand house or a 50 grand house, even up north. That's a crazy amount of money to have to spend. And what will also happen is these costs will be passed on to tenants as higher rent. So what else is they're saying here? Well, they're saying that the cost of all this EPC stuff is going to cost landlords £36 billion. £36 billion in order to get all of that stuff done. And so there is grants. So there's a few things that I want to talk about to how you can get some support before we talk about who's actually going to benefit massively from this new change. So before we jump into that, I have got an EPC guide on the grants that you can get. So you can get EPC grants of up to 30 grand. 30 grand. Now, these only cover certain postcodes. In the link, in the first comment, the pinned comment, and in the description, I'm going to pin that ebook so you can grab a copy of that. Thousands of people took that already, so do make sure you grab that EPC guide while you're here. But the grants, in a nutshell, work that if your tenant is on the lower income, so if they earn less than £36,000, you can get a grant if you're eligible in a certain postcode. So in the ebook, I've got all the stuff that you can spend money on. It's things like solar, ground source heat pumps, and other stuff like insulation as well. And it covers lots of postcodes all around the UK, but not every postcode. So in the guide as well is a link where you can get all the details on all the postcodes, and you can check with your local council if they're doing that for landlords right now. So that's something that you can have a look at here. So who's going to be exempt? That's what you want to know. Well, the good news is they're saying they're going to revise this rule and law, and it's going to be listed buildings. Now, this is interesting because the comments on the EPC videos have been really popular. We've got hundreds of thousands of views on those. And in the comments, a lot of people said it's impossible to get some listed buildings to a level C. You just can't do that because you can't have solar. You can't change the windows. There's lots of different things. Or some rooms potentially are too small to add insulation in on those rooms as well. So there are various reasons why some listed buildings can't do that. And finally, the government is actually listening for once, and they're going to make listed buildings exempt. So that's really positive. Now, it doesn't help other people. And there is still so many properties that need, it's more than 50% of properties that don't hit this EPC level C guideline. So you do need to start looking at your options, looking at how you can do some sort of improvements. And I think the best option is the grants. If you can get a grant, that is money that you don't have to pay back. It's not a loan of any type. It's a grant. If you get that grant, you will not have to pay it back. You can spend it on solar. You can spend it on heat source pumps, ground heat source pumps if that's the best thing. Or you can spend it on insulation as well. So that is also really, really positive, and that is something that we can see going forward. Now, what I think will happen is these grants will get rolled out to more postcodes. I also think that the listed building thing will get expanded to more property types as well. So that, I think, will be what will happen. I also think the 2030 deadline will get put back. When the government sees that landlords aren't doing much about this, they're going to put this EPC stuff back somewhat, and that will be where we look at, we can really see what the plans are going forward. Now, the UK government could also be totally different. You could have the Conservatives back in by 2030, or Reform, or somebody else could be in power, and all of this could be stopped again. So it's really interesting to see what's going on. But the fact that you've now got an exemption coming up for listed buildings will make those landlords at least have a sigh of relief. And that is the right thing to do, because I just don't see those properties being able to hit unrealistic targets. Now, should they improve the energy rating? If they can, of course, they should do that, and they can do that with maybe one of these grants, or off their own back, they can do that as well. But making it go to mandatory C just wasn't going to work. So this is a win. Make sure you grab the ebook on the grants and find out all of the availability on those. And if you haven't grabbed the fundamentals of property investing, because we've just hit 40,000 subscribers, until the end of this week, we are reducing the price just to £20. That will help you find properties below market value. It will help you run the BRRR strategy. It will also then help you pick a high cash flow strategy off the back of that. That could be serviced accommodation, that could be HMOs, and much, much more. So do, in the description, grab that for £20 before the price increases at the end of the week. Do also check out all of the other content as well on my channel, including this video right here.